4. Personal identity. Nozick's contribution to the debate over personal identity is his closest continua theory, also presented in philosophical explanations. Philosophical puzzles over personal identity arise from various bizarre thought experiments that seem to present genuine logical possibilities. For instance, there is Locke's famous example of the prince and the cobbler, wherein the man who wakes up in the cobbler's body one morning appears to have all the memories of the prince, and none of the memories of the cobbler. So who is the man actually in the cobbler's body, the prince or the cobbler himself? Or we can imagine a person stepping into a teleportation machine of the sort described in science fiction stories, and, due to some glitch in the machine's operation, not one but two persons similar to A, call them B and C, appearing in the spot where the machine was supposed to send A, which, if either, is the real A. Nozick's answer to such questions is that it is the later person who, most closely continues, the earlier one who is the one who is truly identical to the latter. What counts as closeness in this context is not susceptible of a simple, cut and dried answer. If we take psychological properties to be of greater importance to personhood than bodily ones, the closest continua of the prince in Locke's example would be the man who wakes up in the cobbler's body, even though he has none of the prince's bodily traits, and indeed, even though the prince's body may still exist, and especially if someone else, the cobbler, say seems to be in the prince's body now. If instead we take bodily properties to be of greatest importance, then the closest continua of the prince would be the person in the prince's body, whatever memories, if any, that person has. In any case, part of what counts as contributing to closeness is, in Nozick's view, going to be determined by a person's own self-conception, by what a person himself takes to be most important to his identity. What about the case where two or more individuals seem equally close continuers of an earlier person, as in the transporter example? Here Nozick's view, going to be determined by a person's own self-conception, by what a person himself takes to be most important to his identity. What about the case where two or more individuals seem equally close continuers of an earlier person as in the transporter example? Here Nozick's view is that, in the latter case, neither B nor C is identical to A since there is no single closest continuer and thus A no longer exists, though had only one person arrived in the spot to which the machine was supposed to send A would have continued to exist. Personal identity thus depends in part on factors extrinsic to the person himself.